Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. In this video, we're doing a kind of anime vocabulary kind of thing, except it's just going to be coverage of one line from a show, and that show is going to be Osomatsu-san. And so Osomatsu-san is kind of easy to do anime vocabulary of because it's a gag anime that kind of consists of a couple of different sketches per episode, so it's really easy to take a line and even out of context we can learn some pretty good stuff from it. And so in this video we're going to be covering how to say if I was forced to say, and so the reason why this gets its own standalone video is because it's a pretty useful phrase that you might be able to use in everyday language. And so the phrase that we're going to be covering to convey this idea of if I was forced to say is going to be shiite you. And so this pretty literally translates to forced to say. We have the word shiite, which is going to be an adverb, and it's going to translate to by force. It's also using the kanji here for strong or powerful, and it also basically derives from the verb shiru, which translates to force, to compel, or to coerce. And so since the verb yu, which means to say, is following after this adverb, then this is pretty much going to literally translate to forced to say. And so yeah, the etymology of the word right there gives us a pretty idea of how we can use this in a sentence, but we're also going to be covering, like I said at the beginning of the video, a line from the anime Osomatsu-san to give us some contextual information of a scenario in which this might be used. So right now we're going to cover two lines. One is basically just a setup, and then the second line will contain the phrase in discussion here, shiite you. And so our line is going to go as follows. Uso desho? Honki de itten no? Ko no nakaから合コンのメンバーを選ぶ? いやいやいやいや無理だってjisatsukouiだって。
嘘でしょ。本気で言ってんの？この中から合コンのメンバーを選ぶ？いやいやいや無理だって自殺行為だって。
まあでも強いて言うならJyuushimatsu兄さん。
まあでも強いて言うならJyuushimatsu兄さん。
And so basically what this line is going to translate to is something along the lines of, you're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Take one of you guys to the mixer with me. No way, that's basically committing suicide. Then for the second part, we have, well, if I had to choose, Jyuushimatsu nii-san. And so here we're translating it to if I had to choose, because the line that we haven't included is when one of his brothers asked him to say who he would choose. So basically the literal translation would be if I had to say my choice, but the natural translation would just be if I had to choose. In any case, let's break down this conjoined line to see how this phrase is working. So first up, we just have and this is basically just going to be an exclamation similar to saying what. Right after that, we have uso desho, and this is basically going to be the word uso, which means lie. Then desho is going to translate to something along the lines of right, so this is a lie, right? Or you're kidding, right? Right after that, we have honki de itten no, and so the first word that appears here is the word honki, which means seriousness, truth. We have the particle de marking it as basically an instrument marker. So this is going to be the means in which a verb is being performed, and so the verb is going to be the verb you, which means to say. So basically this is saying something by means of truth, so are you being serious in your words, kind of something along those lines. You is going to be conjugating to its te form with the character n right after that to basically be the te form of a verb plus iru to mean am verbing. So are you saying this in seriousness? Or more naturally, we can apply some creative license and just translate that to something along the lines of you're kidding, right? Or you can't be serious. Right after that sentence, we get into the bulkier part of the line, and we have kono naka kara. That is going to be the word kono, which means this. We have the word naka, which means inside. In this case, it's going to be more referring to this kind of in-group that is having this conversation. We have the particle kara, which means from, so from this group. We have the word goukon, which is going to translate to a joint party, a combined party, more naturally a mixer basically. We have the particle no to invoke a noun of a noun modification here, so goukon is going to be the first noun of that. Then the second noun is going to appear right after, which is the word memba, which is going to translate to member. So goukon no member is going to be a member of the mixer. More naturally, this will just be the person that he's going to be taking to the mixer to be a member of the mixer there. Then we have the direct object particle o to mark the member as the direct object of the verb that's about to come. And then the verb that has come is the verb erabu, which means to choose. So basically this part of the line translates to choose a person to take to the mixer to be a member of the mixer from this in-group. Moving on, we have the utterance yeah 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 yeah. And this is basically just the word yeah 3 times in a row, which is a word that you say to express unwillingness or kind of disgust almost. Right after that, we have the word muri, which translates to impossible or unreasonable. And this is basically just going to refer to it's impossible for him to do that because it's such a bad idea. We have the datte, which is kind of an emphasis. Then right after that, we have the word jisatsukoui, and this is going to translate to a suicidal act, basically. The first part of that word, jisatsu, literally translates to suicide, and the second part of that word, koi, is going to translate to an act or a deed, and so combined, it's just going to be a suicidal act. Then right after that, we have datte again to kind of emphasize that. So it's impossible, it's suicidal. And so this first line right here, let's combine it all together, and we have, once again, Uso desho, honki de itten no,この中から合コンのメンバーを選ぶ。いやいやいや無理だって自殺行為だって。
嘘でしょ。本気で言ってんの？この中から合コンのメンバーを選ぶ？いやいやいや無理だって自殺行為だって。
And that's gonna translate to what? You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Choose somebody from this group to take with me to the mixer? No way. That's impossible. That'd be committing suicide. And so that's the first line. It's providing some contextual information. A line that we aren't going to include that's said after this is one of his brothers saying, well, if you had to choose one of us, who would it be? And so this is where we go into our grammar phrase here. And so he's going to answer that by saying, demo, shiite言うなら Jyuushimatsu nii-san. And this is going to translate to, well, if I had to choose, or if I had to say, it'd be Jyuushimatsu nii-san.
でも強いて言うなら十四松兄さん。
So let's break down this second phrase, which is much simpler. First up, we just have the word ma, and this is kind of something you just utter to express that you're kind of thinking about something. Well, then we have demo, which is going to translate to but. And then now comes our phrase, which is going to be shiite you. And this is going to be if I had to say, if I was forced to. Like I said earlier, shiite is going to translate to an adverb that means by force. Then we just have you, which means to say. Right after that, we have the word nara, which is a grammar pattern that we've covered in this channel before, which is very important. Very commonly used, and it's basically just a hypothetical. So if we say nara, it's meaning if. So if I had to say, in the case that I had to say, then he finishes it with Jyuushimatsu nii-san. I would choose Jyuushimatsu nii-san. So well, if I had to say, I'd choose Jyuushimatsu nii-san. でも強いて言うなら Jyuushimatsu nii-san.
でも強いて言うなら十四松兄さん。
And so there you go. That's one scenario in which this phrase, if I was forced to say, is being used. Hopefully it was informative. And so yeah, it's a phrase that is applicable to pretty much everyday conversation. So if you hear that, then you hopefully will know what it means from now on. If not, watch the video again or watch the anime or something with subtitles and you'll get a good idea again.